all news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Let's call it 39 at 6:20. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening tonight. Look at the latest on the government shutdown. Yeah, it's still shut down, hanging in the balance despite a Senate package that's on the table. But even more uncertainty as to what happens to the thousands of canceled flights and millions of potentially empty tables as we approach the holidays here. Close to a dozen police cars vandalized outside an NYPD precinct in Queens. Got to remind you of that thing in Bushwick, doesn't it, last summer? This happened last night near the 116th. An arrest tonight in the case of a woman found with multiple stab wounds, which she'd later die from at an apartment in Manhattan yesterday. We'll update that story. Also more on the many Veterans Day commemoratives from all around the city, including the big Veterans Day parade right here in the Big Apple. And the so-called Melon Blue Diamond has sold for more than $26 million at a Swiss auction, so I guess you're definitely going to have to go out and buy Bay something else for Christmas. AccuWeather says cloudy skies tonight, breezy and cold, dropping to a low of 37. When's news time? 6:21 from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center. Here is Andre Farrow.
Let's go to Long Island, where most of the delays are westbound. If you're traveling on the Big Three, westbound Northern by 106, then the westbound Northern gets slow again by New Hyde Park Road, passing the North Shore Towers, and the westbound LIE following suit with delays over by Glen Cove Road and heading towards Lakeville Road, and you head towards the Queens border, where that long-term road work will slow you down by Springfield Boulevard. Westbound Southern, tapping the brakes by Peninsula Boulevard. A good ride at the Throgs Neck and Whitestone, not so fast in the Triborough. Entering Queens going to be slow across the span and heading towards Steinway Street. FDR delays, no dice, heading southbound from the Triborough Bridge all the way down to the 59th Street Bridge. Northbound is heavy as well, heading up towards 34th Street. So go local avenues or go West Side Highway. You do way better there. If you're using the inbound George Washington Bridge, here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. At least 25 minutes. Outbound's around 15. Inbound Lincoln and Holland are around 20, but both outbound are moving well. Look out for a stall over by Route 4 as you travel over by that area of Johnson Avenue heading westbound, approaching 17. You're going to start tapping the brakes. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
We just gotten some word out of Washington, everybody, tonight. We have been waiting for this to come down one way or the other. It's been reported now that the Supreme Court has extended an order blocking full SNAP payments with the shutdown potentially near an end. As you know, President Trump had appealed to the Supreme Court to block states from providing full SNAP payments, 100% payments. In any event, apparently the court has sided with the Trump administration, citing that the shutdown is potentially near an end. We will have more on this a bit later in the broadcast. For now, the government shutdown continues, despite all the talk and movement which suggests it might be ending soon. You already know about the Senate package. And now we're waiting to see what the House and President Trump is going to do. What we do know, though, is that consumers are still feeling the pinch at the airport.
The head of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, Nick Daniels, says they are suffering.
They can't pay for gas to get to work.
In Jacksonville, Florida, this traveler says,
we need to get them paid. There's a lot of lives at stake.
This traveler in Newark, New Jersey, says she's just hoping her flight leaves on time after a very challenging process.
Very tired, exhausted, and so we're here early.
Yeah, thousands of flights canceled over shortages of air traffic controllers. And again, people are waiting to see what happens now. I guess a lot of it hinges on what happens with this vote tomorrow in the House regarding the government shutdown. You've just heard the Supreme Court has extended an order blocking full SNAP payments, again, with the shutdown potentially near an end. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. As early as tomorrow, at least, is what they're saying regarding the House to vote on that Senate compromise package. Regardless of what the court does, it's not clear how fast these SNAP benefits could get to everybody, how fast they could get to everybody, even if the government reopens. In any event, stay tuned to 1010 Wins. A lot of moving parts out of Washington this week, right? Well, back here, cops searching for the vandal now who trashed at least 11 police vehicles last night while they were parked outside a Queens Station House. This happened near the 116th precinct near North Conduit Avenue and 244 just before midnight. Police say the damaged cars were both marked and unmarked. They say it looks like someone threw rocks or other objects through the windows. There have been no arrests. Sort of reminds you of that thing I mentioned back in the summer where we had the vandal that went through a police precinct, cars parked inside of a police precinct fence over in Bushwick and burned a lot of cars. So it's still going on. More on that terrible story out of Harlem tonight now, where a mom was stabbed to death inside of her apartment. We got an arrest tonight.
A Bronx man is behind bars and facing murder charges in connection to a fatal stabbing in Harlem. Police say a 911 call came in that Carmen Lopez, 47, was stabbed multiple times in her torso Monday morning. She was rushed to Mount Sinai, where she later died. Police have arrested and charged Luis Marquez, 41, of the Bronx. Lopez's family and friends are distraught.
We gotta do something.
Her third-floor neighbor Leslie tells us she was a loving mom.
It was terrible, yeah. Does make me a little on edge, but all the cops are here.
Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Harlem.
And now Bloomberg Money Watch.
Tesla is having trouble selling all the cars it manufactures because of the end of the federal EV tax credits, as well as a backlash against CEO Elon Musk. The EV maker has now decided to start renting its cars, launching a new option at select showrooms in the U.S., where you can rent one for as low as $60 a day for a minimum of 3 days and a maximum of 7 days. Markets ending the day mixed, the Dow gaining 559 points, which set a new record high. The S&P finished up 14 points, while the Nasdaq dropped 59 points. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Yeah, I got a cold one tonight, everybody. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy and cold with a low of 37. And then tomorrow, clouds and some sun. Breezy, not quite as chilly in the afternoon. We'll get to a high of 49. Right now, 39 degrees in the park. Good evening. I'm Larry Mullins. Wins News Time, 6:30.
Good evening. I'm Lori Medden. A baby who is hospitalized tonight in Nassau County is believed to have a case of botulism tied to recalled formula. A confirmed case is reported in Northeast Jersey.
Certainly could be fatal, and that's why when your baby does something different or worse than they were doing a week ago, go to the pediatrician.
Stony Brook Medicine Dr. Sherrod Nachman says the botulism outbreak, because of the now recalled By Heart powdered infant formula, could cause weakness in your baby, including floppy head along with difficulty breathing.
And those infants must all be hospitalized, and they can very, very slowly get better. It takes weeks to months.
Medical officials are looking into a case of a Nassau County baby who consumed the affected product and is now in stable condition in the hospital. Sophia Hall, 1010 wins, a 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Wins News Time, 6:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
And let's go to Long Island if you're traveling westbound on the southern. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Slow by the Meadowbrook, heading towards Peninsula Boulevard. The westbound northern, tapping the brakes by 106, 107. And the westbound LIE from Glen Cove Road to the Queens border. You'll need some time. Westbound northern, passing the North Shore Towers, heading towards Little Neck Parkway. Yes, it's a little slow there. The 59th Street Bridge heading back to Queens is busy. If you're using the West Side Highway, that would be way better in and out of Manhattan right now than using the FDR and the Harlem River Drive. I mean, the southbound delays on the FDR are severe from 96th Street all the way down to 14th Street. Northbound, you're slow by the 59th Street Bridge up to 96th Street. And the 59th Street Bridge itself, heading back to Queens, is also a tough go. Midtown Tunnel would be nicer to you. East and west and side over by the BQE, passing Flushing Avenue as you head past the Williamsburg exit 32. You're slow there by 32A. And the inbound Gowanus, 39th Street up to the Brooklyn Bridge. And Brooklyn Bridge, Brooklyn bound, you do have some volume. Outbound Lincoln, outbound Holland, not bad. Both inbound are around 15 minutes. Finally, the Pulaski Skyway outbound delays have cleared, but we're still slow inbound, and eastbound 139 is busy through Jersey City. At least 15 minutes in of the Lincoln, and about the same of the inbound George Washington Bridge outbound is around 20 minutes. If you're traveling westbound over by 280, passing 21, as you're traveling Harrison, New Jersey, we have a crash westbound. Eastbounders are going by taking a peek. Andre Farrow, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist John Furyk.
Still windy out there for tonight. It's not going to be quite as gusty as it's been during the day, but still, when you factor in that wind, it's going to feel like the 20s. Much of the night, you need to bundle up. Down to 36 in Midtown, and most of the suburbs probably get down right around 30 tonight. And then tomorrow, clouds, some sunshine, breezy, not quite as harsh in the afternoon. We're up to 49, mostly clear, brisk tomorrow night down to 43. Windy again on Thursday, partly sunny up to 53. It won't be as bad as today. And then less wind on Friday. Clouds and sun high around 50. Dry Saturday, and it looks like we'll see some rain come in Sunday. Right now in Central Park, 40 and mostly cloudy, going down to 36 tonight in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist John Furyk on New York's weather station, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
On this Veterans Day, a state and national holiday. The annual wreath-laying ceremony was held at the tomb of the unnamed soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. There were other events around the nation as well.
Those gathered at the National World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. paid tribute to the 16 million men and women who served in World War II. Jane Droppa heads up the group Friends of the National World War II Memorial.
On this Veterans Day, we gather here to honor the World War II veterans, the heroes of the greatest generation.
3 World War II veterans attended the chilly, windy event within sight of the Lincoln Memorial.
Correspondent Jim Crisula. Closer to home, the annual Veterans Day Parade made its way up Fifth Avenue today.
A red carpet covered Fifth Avenue at the reviewing stand, and along the sidewalk, spectators waved American flags.
Way to go, we love you.
Air Force veteran Dan Dunn of Woodbridge, New Jersey, grateful for the tribute.
When you get thousands of people out there alongside the road, yelling and screaming and cheering you on, it's a great feeling. We're younger than some of the Vietnam vets. When they came back, they were treated very badly, and that's one of the reasons why I show up to make sure they're treated well and remember all of them what they gave.
The parade had not one, but 3 Grand Marshals representing the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps on their 250th anniversary. Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM on Fifth Avenue.
Britain's government is expected to weigh in on the feud between the BBC and President Trump, who is threatening to sue for $1 billion over the way the BBC edited a speech he made after he lost the election in 2020. The BBC has apologized. 2 executives have stepped down, but a Trump lawyer is demanding a retraction and compensation. The Brit, formerly known as Prince Andrew, may be getting an addition to his new name. Andrew was stripped of his title due to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
A hyphen. That might be what Andrew gets after his demotion to mere Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. That's the last name his late mother, the Queen, created when she added her adopted family name of Windsor to the Mountbatten name adopted by her husband, Prince Philip. Although Andrew reportedly agreed to the non-hyphenated version when stripped of his title, the Times of London reports the palace is considering reintroducing that more aristocratic punctuation, not for him, but out of respect for her memory.
Correspondent Vicki Barker. The station you know, the people you trust.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, 40 degrees. The real feel is 27 at 6:40. I'm Lori Madden, and here's what's happening. The Supreme Court extends an order blocking full SNAP payments as the government shutdown nears a possible end. Mayor Adams is heading to Israel and says he plans to invite Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the city on January 1st. The same day, Zoran Mamdani is inaugurated. A star of Broadway's The Lion King returns home after a show only to find his Washington Heights apartment destroyed by fire. The NYPD hoping someone recognizes a Facebook marketplace thief with a fake Zelle account who has stolen cameras and Pokemon cards. Michael Caine and Matthew McConaughey going into the AI business, lending their dulcet tones to the robots. 1010 Wins AccuWeather says partly to mostly cloudy, breezy tonight, low 37, but those real feels are going to stay in the 20s. Not as cold tomorrow, sun and clouds, high 49. Wins News Time 641 from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
Don't be touching my Pokemon cards now. Let's go to the westbound LIE as you're traveling by the Clearview in Queens. We have a stall right by Springfield Boulevard. That's where the long-term road work is as well, so you have big delays there to begin with. The Nassau ride has calmed down. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. It's mostly westbound action. Westbound as you travel on the northern by New Hyde Park Road and the westbound southern right by Peninsula Boulevard. Tapping the brakes there. The Whitestone and the Triborough are slow entering Queens. Not brutal, but it's slow. And you do have a better ride at the Throgs Neck. Now, if you're using the inbound George Washington Bridge, here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. About 15 in, 15 out. Nothing crazy. Inbound Lincoln's more of a 25-minute deal. Same deal with the Holland. It's about 25 in, but both outbound are in decent shape. The Lincoln, you need around 10. Holland is wide open. And the Pulaski Skyway delays are inbound in Jersey City, not outbound anymore. Westbound BQE, better quickly exit between that area of the Williamsburg and the Brooklyn Bridge. passing Flushing Avenue. Nonstop action there. Andre Ferro, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
The U.S. Supreme Court has extended an order blocking full SNAP benefits to millions of Americans who rely on the food assistance program. The order will expire before midnight Thursday. The High Court's decision, released just moments ago, comes as lawmakers make their way back to Washington, where the House could vote as early as tomorrow on the Senate deal to reopen the government. The flight schedule, meanwhile, remains a mess. Airlines have canceled more than 9,000 flights since last Friday.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says while it won't be immediate, things could get back to normal pretty fast.
If we have the controllers showing up, I think we're going to be back to, regular flight schedules.
And while it's been a headache, he says cutting back on air travel during this shutdown has been a necessity.
Navigating safety and making the right decisions is critical.
Correspondent Stacey Lynn. Mayor Adams is heading to Israel later this week, and he's bringing an invitation.
While walking the Veterans Day parade route, Mayor Adams told reporters his trip will focus on anti-Semitism. He'll visit religious sites, but he also plans to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I want to invite him to join me on January 1st here in New York so we could see this rich Jewish community we have here. I'm going to sit down with business leaders and government leaders.
January 1st is when Adams' successor, Zohran Mamdani, will be sworn in.
I spoke with him the other day. We're going to set up a time to sit down.
Mamdani has been outspoken in his criticism of Israel and even threatened to arrest the prime minister if he comes to New York. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Fifth Avenue.
An actor currently starring in The Lion King on Broadway is looking for more than applause. Vincent Jamal Hooper, who plays Simba, is looking for a new home. After Saturday night's performance, he went home, only to find that his Washington Heights apartment and everything he owned had been destroyed in a 5-alarm fire. Hooper says he's fortunate to be employed.